Cyberpsychos are the only sane people in Night City. Interesting take. Let's see what's going on here. It's my hypothesis that cyberpsychosis is a reaction to the world around you having gone completely fucking insane. It's a place that views you as the sum of your profitable labor potential and not as a human being. In short, as a collection of potentially remunerative pieces. I'm sorry. My IQ is too low for that word. That's a big word for Elmo. Remunerative pieces, and not as a whole worthy human person. You know, that sounds really familiar. That's a little bit too close to home, isn't it, guys? The drop in humanity from installing Chrome is the signal that you, too, are buying into this worldview, that you have started to see yourself as a collection of profitable pieces, and you are upgrading those pieces as you can. The humanity hit from seeing truly terrible things around you is the natural result of your conscience, or what's left of it, rebelling at the consequences of the world's base state. So you just deal with this tension, this stress, by trying to shut it out, or with therapy, etc. But eventually you're going to get wound so tight you snap. And when you do, your mind stops seeing people as people and starts to see them as a collection of parts and not as human beings. And honestly, isn't that a kind of sanity in itself? What could be more sane than to apply the same philosophy that's made your life hell to those around you and make them deal with the consequences? A cyberpsycho isn't crazy. They've found one of the only kinds of clarity left in the dark future. To them, it's everyone else who's nuts. All right, cool take. I definitely know where you're coming from with this. The world is definitely a terrible place in the dark future. It is not a place where you can raise a family unless you live in a corporate zone, and that means you sold your soul. Okay? And it doesn't guarantee safety, doesn't guarantee success. It just maybe makes it a little bit more easy to do, but at what cost? Everything. At the cost of everything, the cost of your soul. So cyberpsychos, you got to think about it. Cyberpsychos are feeding into the capitalist nature of cyberpunk as well, because remember, Chrome is expensive. Putting it together and, you know, finding a Ripper doc that could put it on you is expensive. So you have to have some kind of income. So there's a lot of people on the streets that can't even afford to be cyberpsycho, all right? Cyberpsychosis is a privilege. Those who are not as privileged as you have to deal with the scraps, okay? They deal with the broken cybernetics. They don't even think about getting cyberware because it's like, I can't even afford it. And if something goes wrong with it, then I can't electively get cyberware, all right? Now, if I lose an arm or a leg or a limb or whatever, eyesight, then maybe my family can put their money together and we can get, you know, I know a night market where as long as you don't ask questions, they got some cyberware for you, right? That's a different situation. That's not them trying to tack on as much cyberware as possible to become a different person. That's them just surviving and getting whatever the bare minimum technology is to just continue with their life. Now, is everyone else nuts? I don't know if I subscribe to that where they think everyone else is nuts, but I do think that cyberpsychos feel like you can't really change anything. So if you can't beat them, then be a part of them. And it feels good to be powerful. So if they're going to give me this power, then I'll be powerful because it gives me agency. The more powerful I am, the more agency I have. The more I can determine the outcome of my life. So it makes sense to me that cyberpsychos exist because it's a slippery slope. It's like you get more and more power drunk, you know, like, oh, I can enhance my vision even more. I can enhance my hearing even more. I can learn how to do a skill just by putting a chip in my head. I can lift a car at will over my head. Okay, yeah, give me that. I want special superpowers. Why not? It gives me agency. I can actually do something with it. Now, why does cyberpsychosis happen? In the book, And in the lore, it explains that it is like a psychosomatic kind of thing. So basically, it's different for everybody. It comes on to people differently depending who they are. So some people are more resistant to cyberpsychosis, like David Martinez was in the Edge Runners anime. He was super resistant. V in the video game is super resistant to cyberpsychosis because maybe they don't care that they're not human anymore. They've accepted it, you know? Adam Smasher, I think, is another one of those cases where he's gone so far past the spectrum that he's like, what does it even mean to be human anymore? Who cares? Humans are weak. The flesh is weak, right? For our AdMech lovers and enjoyers out there, the flesh is weak. As soon as they realize that the flesh is weak, then they realize that there is a new part of human evolution. So there's no reason to go cyber psycho there. That is like, oh, I've arrived. You know, finally I'm here where I'm supposed to be. I don't care that I don't have a head, like a human head anymore. All right. My consciousness is downloaded in a hard drive that's in my gut somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, and it's triple plated, you know, and all that stuff. They don't care because they're like, being a human sucks anyway. Like, the world is so bad. It's better to become whatever this system is. So I don't know if they think everyone else is nuts, but I don't think cyber psychos are the sane people, but I do understand why someone would become cyber psycho and go down the route of becoming more powerful and tacking on cyberware, is because they want to have agency in their life and they want to actually fight back instead of just becoming a pawn in somebody else's scheme. Look what happened to David Martinez's mom, all right, in the anime. You know, I don't want to give out any spoilers if somehow you haven't watched the Edge Runners anime, which is insane. You should be watching it right now. But what happened to her? She did everything right. She did everything right. She worked 2 jobs, whatever, did some stuff on the side to try to get her kid into an Arasaka academy. And what happened to her? Right? You know, she wasn't even a target. She just happened to be at the wrong place, right? So that can happen to you. But if you were cyber psycho or had a bunch of cyberware, maybe it would have been a different story, right? You know, she could have heard it coming, whatever. But she didn't have that privilege. That's the whole point.